Hey there, my wedding planning friends, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thanks so much for clicking on my video. I'm Emily Summer. I'm a wedding planner based in Montana, and I make weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice. So today's video, we're talking all about organization. Wedding planning can get really overwhelming, and there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of different people that you're communicating with and coordinating things with, and it's really important to stay organized so that you don't get super stressed and overwhelmed. My first tip to staying organized with wedding planning is to create a separate email address that is only for wedding planning. So a lot of couples will choose to use like their first and new last name, or like the Smith wedding, or whatever you want to use, add a Gmail account or something easy like that. This way you can keep all of your communication with all of your vendors, all the people that you have reached out to get quotes, everything in a separate email, and it's not going to get mixed in with your personal or your work email, and you won't have to dig through a whole inbox to find correspondence from a particular vendor, and everything just goes to this one email. Another great thing is sometimes you're added to email lists and marketing email campaigns that are pertaining to your wedding planning process and who you're working with during the wedding, and you probably won't want those after your wedding. So you just kind of get rid of the email after your wedding is over, and you will no longer receive those emails. Number two, determine whether you are a type of person that likes to have physical hard copies of things, or if you are more digital. And then moving forward, keep all of your items in one place, whatever matches your preference here. So for example, if you are somebody that prefers to have physical hard copies of everything, then get yourself a nice big binder, get those tabs to organize each category. So your venue, your food and beverage, your photographer, and just keep everything, print it out and put in that binder. So when you have your quotes and your contracts from your vendors, print them off and put them in that binder. That way you won't have to be digging through files in your computer, digging through emails to try and find whenever they sent that contract. As soon as they send it over, as soon as you sign it, print it out so you can have a physical hard copy for your binder. On the other side, if you are more digital, create folders on your computer and keep everything very organized from the get-go. And same thing when you receive a contract in an email, when you receive a proposal, download it right away and put it into that folder. It's also helpful to create a Google Drive or something that you can share these documents with your partner, or maybe you have family members and parents that are assisting with the cost of certain things, and having all of those contracts and important information in an organized folder in a digital format that you can share with other people is super helpful and a great way to stay organized. Number three, use apps like Zola or The Knot to track your progress and understand when certain things are supposed to be happening, and get kind of a checklist and a timeline for your overall planning process and progress. Most of these apps will also give you kind of a heads up when a deadline is coming up. For example, you have 2 weeks until your final payment for your rentals is due, so that you are knowing exactly when things need to be occurring, as well as when to be booking certain vendors in the planning process. Now, most of my clients, if you book anything higher than a day of coordination package, I do have an online client portal system that I utilize with all of my clients that does have a space to upload all of the contracts for vendors, payment plans, timelines, checklists, everything in one space. So if you do have a wedding planner, that might be something that's offered to you as well. But if you don't, there's a lot of free resources that you can use to kind of achieve the same organization. Number four, that kind of goes off of those apps, use a digital RSVP tracker. A lot of these apps will include some form to RSVP online so that your guests can just click on a link and RSVP online. Not only is this easy for all of your guests and will likely result in a quicker turnaround time for responses when it comes to RSVPs, but it's also a lot easier for you, because as they are RSVPing on this online system, it is automatically going to populate your guests and who are RSVPing yes and who's RSVPing no. That way you're not having to go in and physically count everybody and see who hasn't RSVP'd, and being able to input every single guest and what their response is. This will automatically generate for you, and you can even print that off so that you have a full guest list to be able to give a head count to the people that need it, like your caterers, rentals, venue, and all of those people that will need your final head count. Number five, and probably should have been number one, but track your budget. And I don't mean just kind of keep track in your mind and go through your bank account and know what you're spending money on, but physically track your budget in some kind of spreadsheet or template or whatever works for you. Have a physical budget. And that way you are able to see what your overall budget is, but then you can also go in and categorize for each aspect of your wedding and see not only how much money you budgeted for that, but how much money you actually spent. That way you can see where you saved money, where you overspent, and where you need to adjust moving forward. This can either be something that you create yourself in Excel if you know what you're doing with Excel or spreadsheet making, but there's also a lot of templates out there for your wedding budget. In fact, a very dear friend of mine has a whole Etsy store on spreadsheets, and she does have one specifically for wedding planning. So not only does it have a budget template and spreadsheet in there, but it also has a ton of other tabs that pertain to wedding planning so that you can keep track of everything in one document. Her Etsy store is Proper Planning Co., and I will link that as well as that document in the description below. Staying organized when wedding planning is crucial to your overall mental health and the enjoyment of the wedding planning process. Hopefully these tips will help you get there. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe to get weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice, and we'll see you next week.